That $24 steak was never meant to sell. It's there to make the $16 chicken look like a deal. The restaurant industry generates $1.1 trillion in annual revenue in the United States alone, and the single most powerful tool behind that number is not the food, not the service, and not the location. It's the menu. Every price, every position, every font choice on a restaurant menu is engineered to guide you towards spending more. The average restaurant menu is redesigned every 18 months by consultants who charge $5,000 to $50,000 per project. Today, I'm going to break down every pricing strategy restaurants use to extract maximum revenue from every guest. We're covering the psychology of price placement, why $24 is the most profitable price point in casual dining, how anchoring tricks you into spending 20% more, the menu engineering matrix that classifies every dish by profit and popularity, and the 5 strategies you can use to beat the system and eat well for less. By the end of this video, you'll never read a restaurant menu the same way again. The first thing you need to understand is that a restaurant menu is not a list of food. It's a sales document. Menu engineering is a $2 billion consulting industry, and the strategies it uses are based on decades of behavioral economics research. The most important concept is the golden triangle. Eye-tracking studies show that when you open a menu, your eyes go to the middle first, then the top right corner, then the top left. That's why the most profitable dishes are always placed in those 3 positions. The items you see first create a price anchor in your brain. If the first thing you notice is a $42 Wagyu burger, suddenly the $24 salmon seems reasonable. Restaurants also eliminate dollar signs from prices. A Cornell University study found that removing the dollar sign increased average spending by 8%. Writing $24 instead of $24 makes the price feel less like money leaving your wallet. Another strategy is the decoy effect. If a restaurant wants to sell more of the $24 entree, they place a nearly identical dish at $31 right next to it. The $31 option exists purely to make $24 feel like a smart choice. Nobody orders the decoy. That's the point. Color psychology matters too. Red text increases appetite and urgency. Green signals freshness and health. Gold communicates premium quality. The colors on your menu aren't random. They're tested and optimized. Finally, descriptive language increases sales by 27%. A study in the Journal of Consumer Research found that grandma's homestyle tender chicken outsells chicken breast by 27%, even when the food is identical. Restaurants pay copywriters $200 per dish description to craft language that triggers emotional buying. So why is $24 the magic number? Data from over 4,700 casual dining restaurants shows that $24 is the price point where perceived value and profit margin intersect perfectly. Below $20, customers assume lower quality. Above $28, they start calculating whether they could cook it at home. At $24, the math works for both sides. The restaurant pays $6 to $8 in food costs, giving them a 67% to 75% gross margin. The customer feels they're getting an elevated experience without overspending. This is called the value threshold, and it shifts based on restaurant tier. Fast casual restaurants hit their sweet spot at $14 to $16. Casual dining at $22 to $26. Fine dining doesn't have a sweet spot because their customers aren't price sensitive in the same way. The $24 price point also exploits a cognitive bias called left-digit anchoring. Your brain processes $24 as 20-something and $26 as almost 30. That $2 difference feels much larger than it actually is because your brain anchors on the left digit. This is why you see so many menu items priced at $24, $14, and $19. Never $25, $15, or $20. The left digit stays low. Restaurant chains test these price points obsessively. Applebee's spent $4 million in 2023 alone on menu price testing across 1,800 locations. They found that moving an entree from $23 to $24 had zero impact on order volume, but moving from $24 to $25 reduced orders by 12%. $1, 12% drop. That's the power of the left-digit effect. Price anchoring is the most powerful tool in a menu engineer's kit. Here's how it works in practice. A restaurant wants to sell a lot of their $24 grilled salmon, so they place a $42 dry-aged ribeye at the top of the menu. Almost nobody orders the ribeye. It exists to set a reference point. Now the salmon looks affordable by comparison. Without the anchor, the salmon might feel expensive. With it, the salmon feels like a bargain. The Cheesecake Factory is the master of this strategy. Their menu has over 250 items, and the highest-priced items on each page are positioned first. Their $26 to $34 entrees feel reasonable because you've already seen the $42 to $48 options above them. This is also why wine menus start with the most expensive bottle. If the first wine you see is $180, the $45 bottle in the middle of the list feels like a steal. Research from the University of Nevada found that restaurants using high anchor pricing sell 15% more mid-range items. The reverse also works. If the cheapest appetizer is $12, a $16 appetizer doesn't feel like a stretch. But if appetizers started at $6, that same $16 item would feel overpriced. Anchoring isn't just about one expensive item. The entire price architecture of the menu is designed to frame the middle options as the logical choice. This is called the compromise effect. When given three options, people overwhelmingly choose the middle one. Restaurants know this, which is why most menus offer 3 portion sizes, 3 wine tiers, and 3 price levels within each category. The middle option is always the most profitable. Every serious restaurant uses something called the menu engineering matrix. It was developed by professors Michael Casavana and Donald Smith at Michigan State University, and it classifies every menu item into one of 4 categories based on 2 variables: popularity and profitability. The 4 categories are stars, plowhorses, puzzles, and dogs. Stars are high profit and high popularity. These are the items the restaurant wants you to order. They get the best placement on the menu, the most descriptive language, and sometimes a box or highlight around them. The $24 grilled chicken at your local restaurant is almost certainly a star. Plowhorses are low profit but high popularity. Think of the $10 burger that everyone orders but barely makes the restaurant any money. The strategy here is to gradually increase the price by $1 every 6 months, or to reduce portion size slightly. Never remove a plowhorse. It drives traffic. Puzzles are high profit but low popularity. These are dishes with huge margins that nobody orders. The fix is better placement, better descriptions, or having the server recommend them. A $22 pasta dish that costs $3 to make is a puzzle if it only sells 5 times a week. Dogs are low profit and low popularity. These get removed from the menu entirely, or they get repositioned as limited time specials to create urgency. The average restaurant runs this analysis quarterly and redesigns the menu accordingly. A single menu redesign based on this matrix can increase profits by 10% to 15% without changing a single recipe. That's why menu consultants charge $5,000 to $50,000. The return on investment is massive. Now that you understand how restaurant menus are engineered, here are 5 strategies to eat better for less. Strategy 1. Ignore the first item you see. That's the anchor. Scan the entire menu before making a decision, starting from the bottom of each section where the lower-priced items are typically hidden. Strategy 2. Order the puzzles. Ask your server what dishes don't sell well, but the kitchen loves making. These are often the highest quality items on the menu because the chef put real creativity into them. You get a better meal and the restaurant makes better margins. Everyone wins. Strategy 3. Skip the second cheapest wine. Restaurants know that people avoid the cheapest option to not look cheap, so the second cheapest wine has the highest markup, often 300% to 400%. The third cheapest wine usually has a much lower markup and better quality. Strategy 4. Check the specials board for real value. Daily specials exist because the restaurant bought ingredients in bulk or needs to move inventory before it expires. The margin on specials is typically 40% to 50% compared to 65% to 75% on regular menu items. You get fresher food at a lower effective markup. Strategy 5. Eat during off-peak hours. Many restaurants offer early bird specials, happy hour pricing, or lunch versions of dinner entrees at 30% to 40% less. The food is identical. The kitchen staff is the same. The only difference is the time stamp on your receipt. Using these 5 strategies together, the average diner can save $8 to $15 per restaurant visit. Over 52 visits a year, that's $400 to $780 in annual savings without sacrificing quality. What's the sneakiest menu trick you've ever noticed? Drop it in the comments. If you want more strategies to spend smarter on everything you buy, check out this video next. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss another smart shopping breakdown. See you in the next one.